Dexter the Blade Jackson or Martin Fitzwater? Who is better? They come from different times, so the physiques themselves, they're going to be hard to judge. This is a fan request, of course. You guys never cease to amaze me. The combinations you come up with. Now, what do I mean by it's hard to judge these two different types of physiques? They're similar height, similar weight, things of that nature. It is the shape. Look at the arms on Dexter the Blade Jackson. We had Ronnie the King Coleman hanging around. Yeah, buddy. And Jay Cutler. All of them had great big arms. Even Phil Heath in his day, Phil had giant arms. Kai Green, ditto with him. And today, really, Nick Walker and Michael Crezo, that's about it. And Martin Fitzwater, not the best in that aspect. Of course, compared to some of the guys today, he's actually got pretty good arms. So, that being said, when you compare these two, I much prefer Dexter, just based on the arms alone. Are they perfectly symmetrical? No. No, if you really look at it, you could definitely argue and say Martin Fitzwater, he's much better. Look at the size of the wheels on this guy. He has those, as I say many times, or I said many times before, the good kind of quads. Taking nothing away from Dexter, excellent condition, but he just doesn't have those ginormous quads. But still, he has it in the arm department. Vacuum pose to Martin Fitzwater's credit. Go to the next shot, front lat spread. And I would give an edge to Martin Fitzwater on this one. His X-frame seems to be a little bit better. You can see the quads, and sizing will be an issue. I'm not that concerned how tall these guys are. You see, Dexter the Blade Jackson, he was an illusionist. That's it. He looked taller than guys like Phil Heath. He looked just as tall or taller than guys like Jay Cutler. It's because you see the way he's holding his legs? He's doing the exact same thing Ronnie Coleman did. He maximized his height too. And you put him side by side with Martin Fitzwater, and he most likely will stand a little bit taller, but I don't think that matters. Do you? I think the X-frame, the clavicle width, Dexter's clavicle wasn't what you would call narrow. For his height, not bad at all. Martin's got a pretty good structure, and I think when you compare front lat spreads, and this picture of Dexter, it does suck. It's panned back, takes away from the size, I think, a little bit. But still, I'm going to go ahead and say Martin Fitzwater, maybe a slight edge in the front lat. But of course, you could argue and say Dexter was winning that front double. Coming out of the two front shots, I don't know. Almost a tie game. Turn to the side here. Side chest pose. Very good shot for both gentlemen. I like Dexter's overall shape. Big man's chest. Great big arms. Wheels look pretty good too. And Martin Fitzwater, he's got great shape also. I would give an edge to Martin on the condition. Striations. Vascularity perhaps. Not that that means condition, but the more conditioned you are, the more veins are going to pop out. But having said that, Dexter's condition, that's good too. It puts these guys on a pretty level playing field when it comes to the side chest. So nobody's going to win this matchup based on this in particular pose here. Very close, guys, gals. And the side tricep, it's kind of the same thing here. Dexter, it's not the perfect angle for this guy. It's a bad shot of his midsection was good in 2008, but it's just a bad angle of it. And Martin Fitzwater, it's the opposite angle. You see what I mean? Or what did I used to say? You know what I'm... Sing, That's a blast from the past, huh? Just try not to be so weird anymore. But having said that, side tricep, side chest, somewhat inconclusive, I would suggest. So we have to rely on these. And we often do have to rely on the back shots. When it's close from the front, close from the side. Who's winning from the back? Well, Martin is in the lower half. He's more conditioned. He's a little bit more peeled. Or is he? Dexter? He doesn't have the separation in the glutes, hamstrings, but take a look at his back. His back is way better than Martin Fitzwater's. With all due respect to Martin, I mean, sometimes these bodybuilders, they take criticism as talking trash or SH. I don't like to say the bad word for poop. Well, I guess it would be the bad word for crap. Crap's kind of a bad word around this household. But having said that, folks, take a look at the traps, the Christmas tree, the lat insertions. Dexter was a jewel plucked from the very core of the earth to be displayed to us, the bodybuilding fans. This is a perfect back. And I think he's actually maybe defeating Martin. But again, Martin's condition, spot on, spot on. Here is the rear double biceps. And again, kudos to Martin Fitzwater on the condition. This is condition plus. Keep in mind, he's standing next to the Blade, who was called the Blade because of his sharp condition. Cutler, Jay Cutler versus Dexter the Blade. Cutlery is sharp, blades are sharp. But anyway, one of you guys messaged me and told me that little tidbit one time. But yeah, look at the traps on Martin. Sure, his back is not as luxurious. He doesn't have those perfectly drawn out lats. Like if you're going to have a piece of paper, you're going to have yourself try a pencil or something like that onto the sheet and drew a perfect back, it would look like Dexter's. But we're looking at pictures of real human beings, and it looks like Martin is actually made out of harder substance. And Louis Marco would have said, substances, baby, please. I heard him one time, he said, scoliosis, baby, please. And it's not funny, but the situation was funny. So having said that, guys, there is a possibility. If you're Martin Fitzwater, you got to be thinking, well, I'm still winning on condition. I still could beat Dexter the Blade Jackson. Is it possible? Sure, here's an abs and thigh. And did you guys see when Giles was filming Martin? Martin he got a little bit upset at him. Seen quite a few people made videos on that. I think it'll pass. Just like a lot of these things. Of course, they say, poor Giles, he has a heart condition. Now, you gotta be thinking, Giles, this woman's, she's pretty attractive. What if his old heart get going looking at her? You know what I mean? Especially if she had some wine and then suggested menage a thrice or something to Giles. His old ticker wouldn't be able to take the excitement. But having said that, I prefer. I'm gonna edit that out. Is that too much? My editor says that's too much. I like the abs on Dexter. Nice V-taper as well. He always looked good in this shot. Whereas Martin Fitzwater, this picture's not very fair to use. It was a pan back one, I think. Lighting, not the best. Kind of distorts the very essence of the shot. Yes, the essence. This guy's got it. Look at the quads, for goodness sakes. Definitely beating Dexter in that aspect. So, here's the most muscular. All in all, folks, this matchup, you could argue that Dexter's winning, and I'll hear all the Dexter fans, but Mark's Max Muscle, Dexter wins every pose. And then you'll have some Martin Fitzwater fans, or Giles haters, I guess. They adopt Martin as a fan now, I guess. They'll say that Martin was winning every single pose. His condition, his overall condition, thin skin, things of that nature, is just a little bit better wheels. But then you'll have somebody, I'm trying to look at this in the middle. I don't hate either one of these guys. I like them both just fine. Like I said, Martin made a little mistake. He's young. Nobody got punched or anything like that. Really. People are making too much of it, I think. Make something out of it, but not too much. But either way, I think that this matchup could honestly go either way. I'd probably be a darn fool saying that Martin wins, because Dexter is a Mr. Olympia champion. This is his one and only Olympia title win. Of course, Martin, he just beat a really good Mr. Olympia champion in Samson Dauda. But either way, folks, if you want me to choose, it is just because I prefer the physique maybe a little bit more. And not because anybody's winning this one. I'll pick Dexter. Let me know in the comment section below. Who do you pick? And don't just pick Martin because you're hating on poor Tiger Giles. Have a great one, folks.